DC motor that we have considered so far has field winding that provides magnetic flux at armature conductors. If simultaneously we apply some voltage across brushes, then depending upon resistance of armature windings, current shall pass through all conductors of rotor. This situation is required and sufficient for mechanical force to act on each conductor of armature. Magnitude of force is expressed as cross product of two vector quantities. One is magnetic field, that is symbolized by letter B, and other vector quantity is electric current and symbolized by letter I. Such a mechanical force acts on each elemental length of conductor and may be summed up together by multiplying the product B cross I by scalar length L, that is length of conductor. Cross product of two vectors follows right-handed system. This means if we stretch our middle finger, fourth finger and thumb, then these three fingers form three-dimensional coordinate system. This could be confirmed by imagining the rotation of fourth finger towards middle finger. Such a rotation advances right-handed screw in the direction of thumb. Another way to understand right-handed coordinate system is if we imagine rotation of positive x-axis towards positive y-axis, then screw should advance in positive z direction. This is also a right-handed system. In our example, magnetic flux B is turned towards conductor current I, so we get direction of mechanical force. The slide shows orientation of three vectors B, I and F at the center of rotor conductor. All conductors under N pole are in identical situation so that forces will drag rotor in clockwise direction. If each force is multiplied by radius, that is measured from center of shaft to center of slot, then we get total torque exerted by conductors under N pole. Similar explanation applies to conductors under S poles, since conductors under S poles carry current in reverse direction in comparison with conductors under N pole. If direction of current reverses, then conductor crosses magnetic neutral axis, then unidirectional torque is guaranteed to act at motor shaft. The two circuits that are field windings and armature windings may be supplied with two independent voltage sources, and these circuits will draw current depending upon their resistances. But for simplicity and reach towards one of the main type of motor, we will consider that these circuits are connected in parallel and supplied with common DC source. Such a connection and resulting motor is known as DC shunt motor. It is very common to represent these circuits schematically and keep them connected in parallel. Slide shows such a schematically represented DC motor with supply voltage VDC. The schematic diagram is only to show connections of windings and supply voltage. We need to consider one more phenomena that occurs when rotor starts rotating. This phenomena is dynamically induced EMF. This dynamically induced EMF acts in a reverse direction with respect to supply voltage. So this EMF is named as back EMF. We may summarize operation of motor as follows. When DC voltage is given to shunt motor, current passes through both windings. Field current produces magnetic flux and conductors of armature windings find themselves in the magnetic field and conductors also carry some current. This leads to situation where current carrying conductor find themselves in the magnetic field and they experience mechanical force. The mechanical force exerted by all conductors are additive and rotor starts rotating. Due to rotation of rotor, back EMF is also induced in armature windings and motor keep on supplying load torque at some speed. It is necessary to modify DC shunt motors circuit that is shown on slide, that is named as circuit diagram of DC shunt motor. This modified circuit includes resistors separated from field winding and resistor separated from armature windings. These resistors are named as RF and RA. Also note that voltage EB is written inside the circle that stands for back EMF. If we add resistor voltage drop with back EMF, then we get supply voltage VDC. At this point, we will have few equations that represents DC shunt motor. These three equations result from voltage division in armature path, current division into parallel paths, and Ohm's law applied to field path. These equations are shown on slide. The back EMF that is induced in any one of the parallel paths of armature windings may be derived. Note that armature winding is closed circuit path and brushes rested on commutator surface create two or more parallel paths. We may start deriving back EMF equation from the equation that connects back EMF with derivative of magnetic flux density with respect to time. This equation is shown on slide. Now we will replace numerator with total flux crossing motor's air gap, and denominator will be replaced by time taken to cross this total flux by one conductor. Such an expression would represent EMF induced in one conductor. Since we want to find EMF induced in one of the parallel paths of armature circuit, we have to multiply by conductor count of one path. Therefore, we have to multiply by Z by A, where Z is the total conductors and A is number of parallel paths.